Okay, so you can see this color here, it's a little more orange. And that's really nice because when you have something that's red and you're moving into the highlight or the light side of it, it's going to move towards the orange more than the pink, normally, because usually the light on the image is a white or a yellow. Now, if you have crazy lighting, if you have a blue light, then yes, maybe you'd move towards the pink or the magenta. But for this, we're going to stick to the orange. So I'm going to take my brush, I think I'll stick to the 13, and now I'll just start scrubbing that color in. And you can see it's a little bit darker than that pink that I originally put down. So that's good. Because that pink, we didn't want it to be a little too Barbie.
Mm-hmm.
And now, this color in here, in the shadow, I use that black. That's fine, but I prefer to use a really, really deep red. So I'm going to come down here to my color picker, and I'm just going to move this down to kind of a burnt brick red. And I'm going to try that and see if I can't transition this. Now already it softens that black a little and transitions it into the red that I've used. And you can see that I'm following the shape of the lip. I'm adding that texture in there, which is what we want. We always want to add the texture in these final layers. You know, if you want to blur this whole image at the end or give it a soft focus, you can do that. But right now we want to add this texture. We're going to add a little down here at the edge of the lip. We're going to add a little up here at the top. And we're just going to form that lip. It has edges, it has curves. Okay, now if I want, I can go back and take that black and give it that.
So by adding the black this way, when you remove the sketch, you're still going to see that shadow or the separation. I guess you would have to have it in there because the sketch. You're going to remove the sketch, right?
Right. We're going to remove the sketch, and really right now, I mean, we're getting close to covering up that sketch for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
That's our goal.
Okay, so remember
yeah,
that. That's the goal, is to cover up the sketch. You don't want that showing through. It's just a reference.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just a reference. So, okay, so now I kind of have the basics down. I'm going to soften that black in some places just a little bit more. And you can see, yes, I still have that sketch here. That's all going to be taken care of in just a minute. Okay, so now I want that intense orange color. I'm going to try something like this. I'm going to move our layers out of the way. Let's try this. Now, it looks really pink. Maybe that's not the right option. Let's go with something. Is that the one I originally chose? Let's try that. Okay. There we go. That's better. Now, again, going with the shape of the lip. I'm just going to start bringing that in softly over the shapes and colors that we've already put in. All the highlights. Okay, that's starting to work. I'm going to choose a color now that will be the very high highlight on the lips. I'm not going to choose white. So I'm going to go up here and I'm going to try a pink. We're going to see how that works. If it doesn't work, we'll use something with a little more orange in it. Let's go down to a 5. And I'm just going to do a light little scribble. Now I'm going to take this color also, and I'm going to meet that skin.
Yeah.
Now,
I like that.
Mostly I'm covering up the sketch right now, so it doesn't have to be perfect. I'm just doing a light edge. So it's not an abrupt transition from the dark red lips to the skin tone. So very soft into the floose here. Okay, now I'm going to pick something a little more orange. Let's try this. And I'm going to go over this pink. And we're going to adjust these transitions one more time. Make sure everything works. We're even going to adjust this over here. Okay, now what we need to do is we need to clean up this edge with our skin tone. And all I'm going to do is soften this real quick. I'm going to use the color picker and I'm going to choose, let's see, let's choose this ochre. And now we're going to come in and we're going to adjust the edges so that that sketch is almost non-existent. And again, I'm just scribbling. Okay. This line right here I want to soften, so I'm going to choose a kind of a, let's see, like a gold or kind of a raw sienna color. And I'm going to soften that transition and give it a little cooler tone. Now that's almost green, which really is fine because we have that green over here on this edge.
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm just going to kind of bounce that color around in a few places. We don't want to limit it to one area because it'll just look out of place. Now I'm going to use the button over here on the tool and I'm going to kind of give that airbrush effect to the edge. I'm going to move this up a bit. Now this is harsh, kind of like that orange we put, or that yellow ochre we put down earlier. But I'm going to soften that. I'm going to use the color picker and choose this pink color here. And I'm going to lower the opacity. And I'm going to transition this raw sienna into the tones that we already have underneath there. Now this side of the face here isn't as developed yet as the other, but you get the general idea from this. Let's choose something like this. There we go. Okay, now I'm going to take, let's see, I want that butter yellow color that I used before, which is right there. Actually, I think it was a little more yellow. Let's try that. And I'm going to pull this highlight down a little bit more. Still keeping that pink in there for the transition. Okay, now I'm bringing this down to the chin. I think I'm going to do a little scribbling here. We still have that line Where the shadow was in this portion, the highlight was up here above it. So I'm going to stick to that because it was in the original sketch. And again, I'm just lightly pressing with the pen on the tablet, giving it a little texture, softening this highlight, and moving up into the cheek.